The most interesting dynamic in the Avatar universe is the relationship between Aang and Appa. I love the idea of the Avatar having an animal guide who is a companion in life and the spirit world. There's an unbreakable bond which connects them spiritually. We see throughout the series how close the two are. They do everything together and stand by each other's side no matter what. It's why we love animals so much. They have an unconditional loyalty and many times seem to connect with us on levels that other humans can't. Appa is Aang's last reminder of his old life, the only other being in the world who can understand what it feels like to have everything you know disappear. They are inseparable. And then, Appa was captured by the Sandbenders, leaving a black hole in Aang. I love this story because it shows us a side of Aang that we've never seen before, and particularly the episode Appa's Lost Days, which lets us understand Appa better and his philosophy on life. This episode is one of the best in the series because it's the first time that we truly see Appa as a character rather than a companion. The entire episode being centered around him gives us a glimpse into who Appa really is and shows us the power of having hope and fighting through pain. The episode begins outside Wan Shi Tong's collapsing library. While Toph struggles to keep it standing, Sandbenders capture Appa and she is unable to save him from them. Bounded by ropes, this is the first time that Appa is separated from Team Avatar. He seems to be exhausted and defeated until he hears Aang blowing his bison whistle and gets a burst of energy to get out of bondage. He starts flying even with the ropes on, but then gets sedated by sleeping darts. Appa is very strong-willed, so even when surrounded by enemies and in an unfamiliar land, he is still eager to find Aang. Up until the point where he is forcefully sedated, he is constantly fighting for freedom. When he wakes, he finds himself in a horrifying situation, a Fire Nation circus. His evil trainer is hell-bent on breaking his will and making him a subservient circus act. This is truly a hopeless situation. Imagine being captured by your sworn enemy, being forced to perform for them, and be thousands of miles from anyone you know. But even in those bleak circumstances, Appa fights on and does not give up. When the trainer won't feed Appa unless he does a trick demonstrating with another animal, Appa uses his airbending to get the cabbages that are out of reach. A funny action which also displays how Appa won't submit to the wicked acts that will degrade him. The night of his performance, all hope seems to be lost, and Appa is further abused by his trainer and dressed in colorful clothing and makeup. After first not obeying, he is whipped and finally complies. His will starts to break. He flies through the flaming rings, but after getting touched by fire, he knocks his trainer out. This causes the audience to laugh, and a young boy reminds him of Aang, which snaps him out of his hopelessness, and he escapes the circus. Avatar actually won a Genesis Award by the Humane Society of the United States for raising awareness of animal cruelty with their depiction of the cruel treatment of Appa in the circus, which I think is pretty cool. Lost and hungry, he returns to the desert, hoping to find Aang, but it's too late. He tries to eat a cactus, which he instantly learns was a mistake, and gets chased out of a wasp hive after taking some honey. Eventually, he finds an empty tent and collapses, completely exhausted. He dreams about the first time he and Aang met, when Aang said the heartbreaking line, "I guess this means we'll always be together." Appa, now looking very disheveled, is suddenly awoken by the owners of the tent and is driven out with fire. He does not give up hope though. He has gone through so much pain but continues flying, hoping to find Aang. Exhausted, he passes out in a forest, but his slumber is quickly interrupted when he is attacked by a hog-like creature. After an intense battle, he finally defeats the other beast, looking worn out, angry, and completely alone. This is a very bleak situation, but his fortune suddenly changes when Suki, accompanied by the Kyoshi warriors, finds him in a cave. But being through so much trauma, he does not trust them at first. I mean, just think about it. He was captured by Sandbenders, sold into slavery, forced to do tricks by the Fire Nation, was constantly attacked everywhere he went. He was gonna be slow to trust people. Then Suki says this.
"It's our responsibility to get Appa back to him safely. This could be our most important mission yet."
Eventually, he sees their good nature and probably remembers them from earlier, and they nurse him back to health. But just like throughout this episode, Appa's good fortune is fleeting as Azula, Circus Freak, and Emo Girl pull up to capture him. But with the help of the Kyoshi warriors, he is able to escape, and is once again alone. He doesn't know where to go and has no clue how to find Aang, so he goes to where he feels at home, the Eastern Air Temple, which is completely uninhabited except for one person. Another ally, Guru Patik, who fandom defines as a nomadic super centenarian. Due to his spiritual knowledge, he's able to feel Appa's spiritual energy and sees the trauma that he's been through. He says, "You're still full of love, but fear has moved in where trust should be." I love this addition. Even through all of the horrible things that he's been through, Appa still has lots of love in his heart, even if he started to become very cautious of new people. The guru takes care of Appa and further reads his energy and is able to locate Aang in Ba Sing Se due to the spiritual connection Appa and him share. Before he lets Appa find his companion, Patik attaches a message to Aang on Appa's tusk. Finally, after going through so much, Appa knows how to get to Aang. The episode ends with the Dai Li capturing Appa before he can get to Aang, his final hurdle before in the next episode, Zuko frees him and he is finally reunited with Aang and the gang in one of the most heartwarming scenes in the series. The reason I love Appa's Lost Days so much is because it is a lesson on hope. Appa is constantly beaten, bruised, and betrayed everywhere he goes, but he keeps pushing forward. He constantly has Aang in his mind and won't stop till they are reunited. This is particularly interesting to me because it is the polar opposite of how Aang acts during the time that they are separated. Aang loses all hope and has little desire to push forward. The absence of Appa in his life causes too much pain to focus on anything. It seems all of the love and enthusiasm that he once had is replaced by anger and pessimism. He unfairly blames Toph for Appa's capture and lashes out on the people closest to him. Rather than having the mindset that Appa had to push forward through the pain, Aang has no clue how to act, how to be the leader that he is destined to become. We see in The Serpent's Past how he views hope as simply a distraction and honestly loses all emotion. It's very compelling seeing this different side of Aang, losing all connection and being completely absorbed by grief. Eventually, his friends show him that being hopeless is not the route to go down if he wants to fulfill his potential, and he starts to have that lost optimism come back to him. But that period where Aang lost himself showed how much he needed Appa. Appa, on the polar opposite side of Aang, wouldn't stop hoping, wouldn't stop searching until they were reunited. This is a beautiful lesson in life. A fictional flying bison may not be the first place you would think to find a profound philosophy, but it's exactly in that bison's journey where we can find the importance of hope. Appa could have easily given up many times and simply accepted an awful existence, but he didn't, and neither should you. I'm sure there have been points in your life where you constantly take losses, where nothing seems to be going your way and you just feel like giving up. But you should never lose hope and push through, just like Appa. I know this is definitely relevant to me. In this journey on YouTube, I would spend hours making videos only for them to get a handful of views. This would make me feel like my work was wasted, and there were times where I felt like quitting making videos altogether. But I couldn't. I have this unwavering vision to grow this channel and will not let those setbacks deter me from that vision. Wherever you may be in life, don't lose hope in yourself, because when you do lose hope, that's when you become easy to control because you will just listen to whomever has authority over you. If you are at a point in your life where you seem like you just can't catch a break, understand that you are in a storm, and when you get out of it, you will be happy that you went through it because you proved that you could survive even the toughest of circumstances. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, have a great day, and be like Appa.